Hello and welcome to the video. So usually I would go by my YouTube name, but for this video my name is Ryan, and today I decided I was going to do something that I've wanted to do for a little while, and since the end of last year 2024 I went through a bit of a phase of watching a load of old movies, and sometimes for the first time, and sometimes these movies were movies I've not seen since I was a kid, and I just really wanted to re-experience these movies, and I had a phenomenal time. And at one point I got to the James Bond movies, and these are movies I have seen some of them in my younger years. I think all of the Pierce Brosnan movies at least once. I seen The Man with the Golden Gun. I'd seen I think the final three Daniel Craig movies, or at least No Time to Die and Skyfall at the bare minimum. But I think I've seen all three of them. And as a result of that, I really got into the Bond movies, and I wanted to watch, sorry, not watch, I wanted to read the books. So today, I will be doing my first of what will become a series of doing a sort of kind of a little review. I'll just show you the actual book there, because you've got this really nice hardback version, and I think it's the same on both sides, yes. And then on the inside you got the casino chips. So it's kind of like a review, kind of like, I would say more like a first impressions, because I've read not all of the books yet. Which one is it? I'm not sure if I'm pointing at the right one. Maybe that one. I just read Thunderball. I'm on The Spy Who Loved Me. And it's kind of just like my first impressions of reading the books for the first time. And in terms of Casino Royale, I read this back in like March, so I don't have the most fresh recollection of everything in it. But I can say, for someone who has never read any of the Bond books, or someone who hasn't read a great deal of books in general, I've read well, it doesn't matter what I've read like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter mainly, and a few other things. But so my experience with actual, written literature in my own spare time, out of my own desire to read, not through education, is quite low. It was, now it's a bit higher obviously. And I had a phenomenal time reading Casino Royale, so much that of course it promoted me to read, or prompted me to read, all of the Bond books, and now I'm on the 10th book out of 14. So I'm hoping by the end there'll be at least 14 of these videos where I'm going to go through all of the books, giving a kind of a general idea of how I felt about the book, some of the things I liked, how I felt it compared to the movie, and at the end I will probably do a little a ranking to show you which is, the order in which I like the books from least favorite to favorite, because I have assigned them all a score so far, so I do have an order of the books currently, and some books do share scores, so you wouldn't know the order of the books from watching these individual ones, because there are books which have the same score. And just to start off with, this one I rated, initially I think I rated it a 7.5 or an 8, because I wanted to be somewhat conservative, because it was the first book and I didn't have any sort of I had nothing to compare it to within the Bond series. But after reading others, this has gotten up to a 9 out of 10, and I think it's a fantastic book. I did in fact prefer this to the movie. I really love how Bond is portrayed in the book. One thing that I really like about the all of the Bond books where it shows up is it's a sort of I guess living, or living through Bond, experiencing something that I myself don't do in real life, and it's the gambling, the smoking, and the drinking, which are things that have never really appealed to me. But when I'm reading the Bond books, it just feels like such a cool atmosphere. It's such an amazing sort of experience, and it's very vividly put to page. So when you're reading it, it just feels like a great experience. Just when he's in those moments with the smoking and the gambling, and then he's ordering his drinks and stuff, and there's just something about it. It just vividly and very it gripped me as hard as it physically could, and I loved reading those experiences, and I'm glad it's not just only in Casino Royale. It does reoccur. Le Chiffre, I thought, was a great villain in the book. In terms of Le Chiffre, I think both book and movie versions are equally just great in how they're portrayed. The torture scene, I preferred the book's version of the torture scene, and it's mainly because of how Bond reacts to it. In the movie, he's laughing, he's making jokes about Le Chiffre scratching his balls and stuff, and he kind of downplays the scene, I felt. Whereas in the book, he is genuinely scared. He is terrified that he is now like impotent, and his love life is ruined forever as a result of being repeatedly whacked in the groin area. So like in terms of for Bond personally, there are stakes there. He's genuinely concerned for his own safety, and I think it added a lot to it, just the way how he reacted. Same with the I guess the romance with Vesper. In the book, it's a lot more serious. Bond actually truly develops a connection with her. He believes wholeheartedly he wants to marry her. He wants to I believe he also states he is willing to give up being a spy for her. So the conclusion to that storyline is far more tragic as a result of the stakes that Bond puts into it, opposed to how he did in the movie. Other little things as well, like throughout the movie and throughout the book, are slightly different, but not tremendously. Like for example, when Bond loses to Le Chiffre when he double bluffs him, I guess. In the movie, he is told by his I think it's the liaison that you fucked up, you can't have more money, I'm cutting you off, like game over, and Bond is then sort of put in his place. Whereas in the book that doesn't happen. He does lose, but he doesn't have a colleague tell him off and belittle him for it. He just has Leiter come over and bail him out, like he does in the movie. So there's things like that. One scene I do prefer in the movie compared to the book is the scene where Le Chiffre poisons Bond when they're playing, and he goes to his car, gets a defibrillator, and nearly dies. And I think that's a fantastic scene in the movie. But in the book, he just has a guy come up behind him. I think he has a cane, which is also a gun. And to get out of the situation, Bond just, goes back in his chair really hard and knocks the guy over, and then he sort of runs away. But yeah, so other than that, I do think the book is basically better in every way, because you just get more time to really flesh things out. Another big difference is Smersh instead of Spectre, which is the criminal organization that is behind a load of the... I guess why Le Chiffre does the tournament and why he needs to win so badly. In the movie, he needs to pay off Spectre, or repay them, I suppose. Whereas in the book, it is an organization called Smersh, which is a Russian organization, and that's true for the books in general. It's Smersh up until Thunderball. That's when they first introduce Spectre. But yeah, so overall, fantastic book. Like I said, I gave it ultimately a 9 out of 10, and I think it deserves it. Maybe one day I will reread the Bond books, and I will then update their scores and maybe do a second video ranking them all, my opinions after a second read. Whereas right now, like I say, fantastic book. Loved every moment of it, more or less, reading it. I loved the tension of the torture scene. It felt so much more high stakes, and the drama and the tension was just perfectly done. And also the as a man, the scene of him, or the idea of him getting hit in the books, is so much more eye-watering compared to him just making the jokes and downplaying it from the movie. But maybe that's why they done it, because it would have been too painful to experience if he was reacting like he was in the movie, in the book, sorry, where he's passing out constantly from being hit so hard. And but yeah, so I would highly recommend it. Let me know what you think of Casino Royale in the comments, and I will see you with Live and Let Die. Bye now.